Sterling Holmes of Fansided and Stacking the Box, joined now by three-time Defensive Player of the Year, J.J. Watt. J.J., how are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good, man. First, I want to talk about this partnership you have with Dick's Sporting Goods, including this whole spot you did with your entire family. Can you talk a little bit more about this?
Yeah, we had a blast. I mean, Dick's Sporting Goods is an unbelievable partner to work with. It's so natural because, I mean, I'm an athlete and I'm a big kid at heart. So literally it's my heaven. I just go into that place and have a blast. And to film some of these iconic holiday scenes from some of these iconic movies with my family was unbelievable. I mean, it really is. Like, we grew up watching these movies and these scenes. And so to be able to recreate them inside of a Dick's Sporting Goods, we had a blast. I hope everybody else enjoys the commercials as much as we had fun making them.
Yeah, big kid's right. I would say a very, very big kid. I don't want to start off with a little fun one here, JJ. When you switched your hair up and rocked that early 2000s look, just tell me what was going through your mind. Were you like, oh, the people are going to love this?
I didn't really think, like, I had switched my haircut up. And so, like, you know how sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and you'll go to do your hair and it's just not doing what you thought it was going to do. So you're like, all right, let's pivot and do something else. And I pivoted, and in the mirror that I did it in, it looked good. And then, you know, like, sometimes the lighting is not great and you go out and there's a different lighting and it looks different. I went out into Super Bowl lighting and it looked different. It looked a lot different. So it made quite the splash. No press is bad press, apparently, because it really took the internet by storm, and it was a great moment. I'm going to bring it back at some point. I don't know when. We're going to give it another shot. So we'll see.
So I think that's a smart move. And by the way, I can't throw stones, dude. I used to have a mullet, so I can't. I'm no stones thrown by me.
Yeah.
But I do think you need to bust out like the puka shell necklace, maybe like a boom box. Listen to like Limp Bizkit walking in. I think that would really get it going.
Yeah, I mean, Guy Fieri loved it, so that's a plus. That's a plus.
All right, let's talk about the Texans here. The continuation of C.J. Stroud's growth, but coupled with the injuries galore that has been the Houston Texans, what have you seen from them this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think expectations are extremely high for them, which is why anytime they stumble, there's massive conversations around it. I mean, when you look at where they are right now, this from where they were 2 years ago, I mean, anybody would be like, yes, we'll take that right now. But it speaks to DeMeco Ryans, it speaks to C.J. Stroud, how far that they've taken this team already, that people are, you know, trying to poke holes in them at this point in the season. I think they certainly had a rough night on Thursday night against the Jets. There's no question about that. I think they're giving up a lot of pressure up front, undoubtedly. So it's not as comfortable back there for CJ. And when Stephon Diggs goes down and Nico Collins has been out, it makes it even tougher. So hopefully when Nico comes back, he's able to play at that top level, because he's unbelievable as a receiver and he gives so much ability for the offense to do more things. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, we need to get you with the Texans offensive line. Get them right. That's what we need. Okay, I'm just saying, JJ. Just saying.
Yeah, we gotta give CJ just a little more time back there.
When it comes to Will Anderson, what have you seen from him? Obviously, he was phenomenal so far into his young career. But when you look and break down the film of Will, what stands out?
I think he's continued to grow as a player. He's not just the same player trying to make more plays. He is learning more about setting edges. He's learning more about playing with his hands. He's learning more about finishing at the top end of his pass rush moves, about mixing up moves and setting them up. So he's really growing as a player. He's not interested in staying the same. And I think that's what's made him so effective. I mean, the guy was Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, obviously, and he could easily just say, I'm good. I'm going to go out there and just do it again, just 1 year older, 1 year stronger. But he's constantly evolving and growing and trying to be better.
What have you seen from the overall change of defensive lines in the past decade, the past 20 years or so? It used to be every single great defensive tackle was a Vince Wilfork type, right?
Yeah.
Big run stopper up the middle. But now you're starting to see the Quinnen Williams, Chris Jones, DeForest Buckners. How does that change a defense? How does that affect the defensive ends? What have you taken away from that defensive line shift, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I think athletes are always growing, evolving, and getting better. So I think that off-season training, I think combine training, I think just the way that these guys are coming up we're getting a lot better athletes, even the bigger guys. I mean, you look at Dexter Lawrence right now. Like what he's doing is such a blast to watch. He's got 9-10 sacks. He's like 340 pounds, but he moves so well. He's so strong. He's so agile. But then there are guys like DeForest Buckner. He's taller. He's a little slimmer than you would think of some of those old school Vince Wilfork types. But he can do different things in the run game and the pass game. He's quicker. He makes it tougher on guards. So there is a lot of that. I really think it's just athletes in general getting better, same as offensive linemen. Offensive linemen are getting a lot more agile, a lot more, the movement's getting a lot better. So the whole game is getting more athletic. But we did see at the start of this year, the run games really start to pick up, partially because of the amount of cover two that's being played in this league. But it could also partially be to that fact that there's not those gigantic, massive run pluggers up there in the front.
Oh, I talk about it all the time. The game's cyclical. You're seeing linebackers get lighter. They're no longer the big burly guy, the best athletes at middle linebacker. It's changing to more of a pass coverage linebacker. You're seeing Derrick Henry thrive. Those big power backs thrive. Kansas City's now thriving with the run game. It's great. Joe Mixon for Houston thriving. Yep. It's interesting to see the dichotomy and the cyclical nature of the NFL. I do want to point out, I'm sure you know, TJ Watt, your brother, is getting pretty close to passing you the all-time sack numbers. Yep. Are you getting nervous for that day? The trash talk that's going to ensue.
I am very excited for that day. I am enjoying all the days I have left to hold the title in the family. But people always ask, like, are you mad he's passing your records? Do you hope he doesn't do it? I hope that he beats every single thing that I've ever done in football. There's nobody that would be happier for him than me. I know how hard it is. I know how difficult it is. And I know how impressive it is what he's doing. So I hope he breaks them all. I'll be extremely happy for him. And it's a lot of fun to be able to sit and have conversations with both your brothers at the dinner table and, give each other trash talk about your careers.
That's awesome, man. I sit here in Kansas City right now. The Chiefs traded for DeAndre Hopkins recently. You were teammates with DeAndre Hopkins for a good chunk of time. What are the Chiefs getting in D-Hop?
I mean, he's got one of the best catch radiuses in all of football. He's got some of the best hands in all of football. I'm so happy for D-Hop just because he's gone through some years on some teams. He's been on some teams. He's caught balls from a whole lot of quarterbacks. And no disrespect to anybody else he's caught balls from, but he's never caught balls from a guy like Patrick Mahomes. So I'm very happy for him that he's now getting to play with one of the best quarterbacks of all time and on one of the best teams of all time, and hopefully he gets a chance to do some very special things.
Did you ever have a favorite player to sack when you look back in your career? Was there ever a guy, it can be for any reason, whether it's a great quarterback, a guy who rubbed you the wrong way? Was there ever a quarterback you're like, oh yeah, I love bringing him down?
I literally enjoy every single one of them. It doesn't matter if the guy fell down and I just touched him, or if I, decleated him and flipped him over my head. A sack is a sack, man. They don't ask how you got it. They just ask how many. And so I don't care. It's just the best feeling in the world. And that's probably the toughest thing about retirement, besides the camaraderie in the locker room and everything, is knowing that you'll never get that feeling back again. That's the feeling you miss the most.
Well, you've been golfing a lot. So how are you translating that? Should your playing partners be scared all of a sudden you hit an errant tee shot? You're like, you look over at them. I saw you're playing with John Rahm. Does John Rahm need to be worried that you miss a putt?
My golf game's nowhere near good enough for me to even have the confidence to do anything stupid out there. My shots are stupid enough. On the football field, I'm extremely confident. On the golf course, I am not confident whatsoever. So it's embarrassing, and especially when I play with John, because he is very obviously very good.
Please tell me you tried his swing at least one time, because being up there close in person, how's that swing even work? Like the mechanics makes no sense to me.
I've seen it 1,000 times. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm standing 3 feet away and I'll watch it and I don't understand. I don't get it.
Oh,
but I can bench press more than him, so I can hold that.
That's all you need. Is that what you tell Pat McAfee too? Like, hey, come on, guy. Like, you're good. I can still bench more than you can.
That's the only reason I still work out, to be honest.
Seriously. I can't bench anything. Look at this. This. I'm a cornerback build, slight cornerback build. What has been the biggest surprise in the NFL this season so far for you? good, bad, anything? What's been the biggest surprise?
For me, it's the Washington Commanders. I don't think anybody saw, Jaden Daniels coming in and playing at this high of a level so quickly. New coach, new coordinator, and they have just been rolling, and they've been doing it with a lot of flair, really doing it in big ways. Cliff's offense is rolling. Jaden's playing extremely well, and the rest of the team's bought in. I think Dan Quinn is a very underrated coach. I think his team loves playing for him. So if I had to pick one thing, it's that. I also think in a very similar vein, Sam Darnold doing what he's doing up in Minnesota is a very similar type of situation.
Yeah, both have been incredible. Seeing Jaden Daniels is actually reminiscent to me of what the Texans did last year, right? The Texans, I thought, were going to surprise some people last year. They did offensively, of course. They're carrying that over. Then you're seeing Washington kind of follow in the same vein, bring some veterans in, bring in some pieces to surround your good rookie quarterback. And now you're seeing the repercussions, the results. If you do, not taking shots, the Panthers, or you got to have some weapons. You got to help the guy out, help the rookie quarterback out here.
And it's very tough because everybody looks at CJ last year and then look at Jaden this year, and they want their rookie quarterback to be that. They want immediate success right away. And it would be awesome, but it's also not fair. Like, sometimes you have to develop a guy. Sometimes you have to teach them and let them grow and turn them into greatness. And like you said, they also need to have the supporting tools around them, whether that's players or whether that's coaches. So it's not, everybody's not going to be great right out of the gate. Sometimes you do have to still develop players.
So hard for fans to realize, and the win now has to be now method and ideology. It's hard to see that Josh Allen wasn't that year one. Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith year one. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers 4 seasons. It's not immediate success. So I always try and tell other fans, hey, it's the outliers you're trying to compare these guys to.
Exactly.
Don't go to the outliers, go to the average. JJ Watt, one last time before we get out of here, where can folks find this awesome partnership that you're doing with Dick's?
It's going to be all over the internet. It's going to be all over TV, but you can go to Dicks.com. Dick's Sporting Goods is a phenomenal partner for me. I love them. I'm very fortunate to work with them. Hopefully you enjoy these commercials as much as I do, and happy holidays to you all.
You as well. Big kid, JJ Watt, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. JJ, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.